gentlemen, what the world has been waiting for, what the world needs now, the one, the only, amazing, original, Johnny Blaze. Often imitated, but never duplicated. There's Johnny.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to the original Johnny Blaze Show. It's always great to be here as I blaze right in with my karate kick. Let's have a blazing hot fun time. I remember the final question my ex-girlfriend asked me right before we broke up. Which do you like better, my body or my mind? I told her your sense of humor. If you come home from work early and find your wife standing in the doorway wearing her sexiest underwear, this can only mean one thing. It's laundry day. Last night at the bar, I met a divorced woman. She seemed very upset. I tried to console her. Look at it this way. You didn't lose a husband. You gained the remote control. The last argument I had with my girlfriend dragged on for hours. At one point, she screamed at me. How dare you yawn at me while I'm speaking to you? I wasn't yawning, I told her. I thought it was my turn to speak. It has often been said, make love, not war. But if you ever wanted to make both, you can always get married again. I went on a date with this one woman, and she demanded that I take her to someplace expensive. So I dropped her off at the gas station and told the man working there, fill her up. Always remember, folks, if it wasn't for marriage, most women would have to start arguments with complete strangers. We have a blazing hot fun show with a special guest. He is a multi-talented entertainer, singer, songwriter, and entertainer. So please give a big warm welcome and say hello to Kenneth Perrin.
Hello, hello.
Happy holidays. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing okay. How about you?
Real good, thanks. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too.
Looking sharp there. You really are.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to follow your style, man. Dapper, you know.
Well, thank you very much, Kenneth. Anyway, Kenneth, yeah, we in life we have people have different stories and everything, and I'm sure you have your own story of how did you get started in entertainment and where are you from? Give me the rundown of the Kenneth Perrin story. How did it start?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I was born in a military family. We moved around quite a bit. Augusta, Georgia is technically my actual hometown. That's pretty much where I grew up as a child, high school, and then I went off to college to study music and political science in North Carolina. And from there, went to University of Tennessee to pursue a degree in entertainment law. Dabbed a little bit in that, but always came back to the music because that was like my first love. I grew up singing as a kid in church, and then, did weddings, banquets, any kind of function, you name it. If music was called for, I was pretty much there. So I've always been involved in music, singing, songwriting, performing, and it's just something that I feel like is really like what I need to be doing at all times, no matter what. So
that's wonderful. Did you have any training now? Did you take any training at all in music and singing and songwriting? Or?
I did, yeah. I actually took voice lessons in college. And then the songwriting stuff really didn't happen until years later because I was known for doing a lot of cover songs, especially like a lot of ballads. But as I got older, I realized that a lot of the songs that I actually liked were written by the actual artists themselves. So I said, maybe I have kind of a knack for that as well. And I just started kind of working with it, working with lyrics first, and then kind of working more with the melodic part of the songs, and then seeing if I could actually put everything all together. I'm a drummer and I also play a little bit of piano, but for the most part, I'm always like recording the melodies, tape recorder, things of that nature, so I can remember what tunes kind of pop in my head. So
great. Well, you have anybody that motivated, inspired you? Any particular people in entertainment that you look up to?
Yeah, totally. I am a huge fan of longevity. I'm not too impressed by pop culture in the sense of, stars that are here today and then kind of gone tomorrow. So a lot of the people that I admire have been around for a very long time, like Stevie Wonder, Mariah Carey, who else? Willie Nelson, just a good storyteller. People who create bodies and volumes of musical works that just endure to the end of time, basically. So those are the types of artists that have really motivated me over the years.
What is there about these artists now, like Stevie Wonder and Mariah Carey, that you were really, really are so excited about and really think the world of? What is there about them that makes you feel that way?
I think it's because they've all endured hard times, for one, and they have managed to overcome their struggles. They don't come off as being perfect. They share their imperfections, which I think is really cool, because that's what makes them relatable. But I think more than anything, it shows up a lot in the music through the lyric writing, through the stories that they've told about their own personal experiences, personal dramas, things of that nature. And I think that's what really, besides their obvious vocal, music talent, I think that's what really keeps me listening to them more and more.
So their music and their way of performing sounds like really appeals to you, really excites you.
Exactly.
Well, that's great.
How about you? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was going to ask you, did you have any favorite artists or musicians that you like to listen to? So.
Well, there are people in the past that that I liked. Of course, many people. I mean, Elvis was an inspiration and motivation. And there's Neil Diamond, there's Sinatra, the Beatles were great. There's all kinds of different groups. Oh yeah. You name it. And some of them, they're unforgettable. You're never gonna.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They just have a charisma and a chutzpah about them. How can you forget them?
Oh, totally. That's true.
Right. Well, let me ask you. So what kind of music now do you go for? Do you go for jazz or country or pop or rock or folk?
I'll be honest with you. I consider myself to be the total ultimate music mutt. When people say I listen to everything, I'm kind of one of those people that literally I do listen to everything. But I do say that I kind of go through seasons. Like during the holidays, you can find me listening more to jazz, Nat King Cole, Christmas songs that kind of have more of a jazz flair to them. Maybe summer, spring, it's all about pop, feeling good, light. So a lot of classic 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s pop hits, Billboard top hits, and then like summertime and fall, anything that's maybe currently out that I might like, that I might hear on the radio or online or through Spotify. And that can be pretty much a mix of like dance music to country to maybe even spoken word sometimes. I find that there are certain people that speak, but they have nice music playing in the background while they're speaking, like poems and things of that nature. So it's weird. It's really weird. So
but you're not limited. You like a variety of different music.
Yeah, totally. And gospel too. I can't forget that. Gospel too.
I see.
That motivates me a lot. So yeah.
Well, that's something to be motivated about. It sounds like there's so many different things. What's a typical day now as a singer? And tell me about some of your venues, your favorite venues and places that you performed at and traveled.
Yeah, well, basically, typical day, well, I do have a regular 9 to 5. I work with a marketing company, but when I'm off or like on the weekends and I have to dedicate my time strictly to music, most of the time it starts off with taking care of like the business administrative parts of things, like say for instance, booking gigs, following up on emails, making phone calls, things of that nature. I kind of like to get those done, maybe like from 9 to 12, take a break, and then just work on the creative aspect of music all day long. So that's anything from listening to beats, maybe collaborating with other songwriters, meeting up, recording, rehearsing, you name it. Anything along the creative spectrum, that's pretty much what I'm doing. But to answer your question about the venues, one of the special things about being here in LA is that I've had an opportunity to perform like at the Whiskey A Go-Go, Molly Malone's. I just did my first debut over at the Formosa Cafe off of Santa Monica, which is a really, really great venue. Very small, very intimate, urban press winery, those types of places. I am excited to announce that I started a tour, national tour, next week. So some of those events will be live streams, but then after that, like in the month of January, there will actually be like physical appearances, like at the Mint and down in San Diego, the Mero, Angel City Outreach Cafe in Bellflower, Greenville, South Carolina. So we're trying to pick up little steam, kind of starting from the LA region and then just going all the way out to the whole entire country eventually. By the end of
That's great that you're able to do that, you know, with what's going on with COVID, that you're able to get out there and actually see the people in person.
Yeah, well, it doesn't come without its limitations, that's for sure. You know, obviously we have to follow protocol. Everyone has to be vaccinated. That's in the band. And you have to show that proof before you can enter the door. And then I think there are even restrictions once you get inside. Like, you know, they try to really recognize the whole social distancing aspect of things. So, you know, but you know, I'll take that just to be able to get in front of people and perform. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that places are willing to take a chance to be open at this time. So
that's great, because a lot of things did close down in the past. That's great that you're able to get out there again. And some of these ones that you have, these local ones, tell me, they stand out. You know, you said Molly Malone's, and there was a few others that you mentioned.
Yeah, Whiskey A Go Go.
Whiskey A Go Go, yeah. Molly Malone's. There was one other. Formosa Cafe, was that? Yeah. Yeah,
Formosa Cafe, exactly.
Right. Tell me about the different. What was there about it that you really loved and everything? And
well, you know, it's interesting because every venue has its own feeling and style about it. Like Whiskey A Go Go, you know, it's all about the wildness, like, yeah, let's go, you know, hoorah. And everybody's just sort of in that energetic mode the whole entire time. So if you play a lot of up-tempo stuff, that usually kind of gets the people on their feet. Whereas Formosa Cafe and, you know, Urban Press Winery, places like those are restaurants, eatery type places. So you already kind of have a captive audience, but those places tend to be a little bit more intimate. And I actually like those a lot because people are right in front of you. They're enjoying their meal. You can do soft music. You can do music that they recognize, and you can throw in your own stuff too. So it's you get a chance to kind of actually create dialogue with people that are in front of you. You know, you can't escape. They can't escape you. You can't escape them. So it's a nice way to just really kind of engage and get to meet new fans, engage with other people, and just it's almost like you're hanging out with friends and you bring out a guitar and you're just kind of playing and everybody's eating and having fun. That's what it kind of feels like in those types of smaller venues, which I really, really appreciate. So
great. Well, that's great. So yeah, it's more intimate and everything, smaller. You have a personality about you. I'm listening to your songs. It's like you've got like a soulful sound, a very relaxing, soulful sound. You have your first you had a song. It took a long time.
Yes.
That was your first one.
Yes.
How did you go about creating that song, and why did it take so long?
Yeah, well, that's interesting you mentioned that. I think, well, first off, the reason why the song was written, because I just felt like it was just taking forever to really find the right musicians, to really find the right sound that I wanted. And I just felt like a lot of things in my life was just taking literally a long time to happen. But the beauty and the blessing behind that is sometimes the reason why things do take a while is because maybe one, we may not be ready for it. We may need to have some pruning done. You know, we may need to have some ego stripped. And once we do receive whatever it is that we're waiting for, we can handle it better, whether it be, you know, that promotion, that job, that new car that we've been, you know, trying to save up for. You know, we were able to appreciate it more and handle it better. But had we gotten it at the time that we wanted it, we would get it maybe for a split second, and then all of a sudden probably end up losing it for one reason or another. So it took so long. It's sort of an ode to that. It's about wisdom. It's about being wise. It's about appreciating the fact that even though something may take a long time to happen, once it does, be grateful, be happy, grab onto it, take care of it, kind of thing. But usually the way I work in studio is I will either grab a few musicians that I have worked with in the past that I like playing with and I appreciate their styles, and I'll grab a few of those mixed in with studio musicians that I'll hire at particular studio that I'm working with at the time. And so I put all those forces together, basically. One or two musicians will come in, lay down their tracks, 2 at a time, maybe 3 at a time, and I'll add my vocals very last, and I'll do my background vocals first, and then my lead vocals after that. So that way my lead vocals have something to kind of lay down to.
So you have a recipe, it sounds like, for success, for putting everything together.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That sounds like it. Oh, yeah. Sometimes the things that, right, we don't take anything for granted, is what you're saying, and sometimes the things may take a little longer, but not only don't you take it for granted, you appreciate it more, and it probably comes, the quality is probably improved because you took so much time and so much attention towards the song. That's what it sounds like to me.
Exactly. Great interpretation. Right on the bullseye. Yes.
Thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, you also have a current song, you created the song called Focus. How did you focus on and create this song?
Thank you.
A little play on words.
No, I love it. I love it. That was written actually during the time the pandemic was really at its peak in 2020. And I felt like for myself, I was kind of being affected by everything that was kind of going on around me. I consider myself to be a pretty sturdy guy, pretty strong guy, and not let a whole lot of outside influences affect how I'm feeling. But after listening to the news and hearing stories and being on the phone with people that I knew, it was just like chaos everywhere, and everybody was feeling down. And I said to myself, I can't allow myself to keep soaking in everything that's going on. I need to just kind of step away and just focus. This is a downtime, and I promised myself that I would try to be productive while I had this free time. So I need to go in and do that. So that's how Focus came about. And I know that technically it probably wouldn't be a song that you would hear ideally on, the top 40 radio, but I wanted to kind of give a tribute to sort of like the James Brown old school kind of style where they have like the horns and it's, kind of funky, but it kind of puts you in a good mood along with a good message, basically. So. Well,
thanks for sharing that. That's very interesting. Thanks for sharing it. Yeah. You seem like you do a lot of original songs. You also probably do some covers. Which do you prefer? Do you like to do both, or do you equally, or you like one thing over another, more covers than originals, or more originals than covers?
I'll be honest with you. I have found that I actually appreciate doing my original music more so than covers. And I feel like as time goes on, I'm being more selective of the covers that I choose, because I realize that whatever cover songs I do, it's nice when they kind of reflect with my original music as well. Like What a Wonderful World, I love doing that one. I love doing Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding. Just songs that kind of are simple, but yet have a good message with them. That's kind of like my go-to for cover songs. And it's interesting because, a lot of people say, just do the covers. Everybody loves them. Everybody loves covers. But you have to think about, okay, well, if I did a cover, what cover is really a good cover to do? Because every vocalist is different, every song is different, every music is different. And when you do a cover, I think it's kind of cool when you can kind of take it and make it your own, but at the same time kind of retain some of the essence of the original. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. It makes sense because you're taking something, making it, you're putting your own interpretation on it. At the same time, you're trying to do justice to the memory of the actual song and the artist.
Exactly. And
so you're going to be selective. You want something that has not only has a great sound, a great melody, but a message, the right kind of message to go along with the music.
Exactly.
And then now, as far as your originals, it sounds like it also allows you to be creative. So you're not just relying just on what's already been done. You're combining what has already been done in the covers with also being creative and coming up with your own material. Exactly.
And I think it's almost like with me, there's always some idea floating around. I mean, I feel like I get my best ideas when I'm not even thinking about creating music, ironically.
Really?
I could, in the shower or walking in the park or whatever, and things will just kind of come out of nowhere. So I feel like it's always a constant need to at least put something down to create, because you never know what could come of it. And I found that sometimes some songs that I've written may not necessarily be for me. It may be for maybe someone else or another artist, but I feel good at least that it's done and it's written, and it's like, okay, I can put that away. I got it out of my system. We'll wait till something else happens, but at least I feel good that it's done.
So sometimes you're not planning on things, on creating something, and when you least expect it, that's when something comes about. Like you say, in the shower, in the park, maybe you're at the beach, or it could be anywhere. It could be driving.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, something comes up in your head when you're not. It's an old story. If you're trying too hard, you're probably not going to get it. When you don't try as hard, it's like say you forget something. The harder you try, the more you can't remember it. But when you least expect it, you're not trying so hard. You're not being very trying. All of a sudden, it pops right into your head. Well, that's it. And that's the same thing. It's not like that's the same concept you're talking about as far as being creative. Have you ever had any writer's block at all?
I have. I will be honest with you. Yes, I have. And
how have you overcome that?
That happened. I just pretty much had to step away and either come back to it, or eventually something will come when I'm not even thinking about it. So yeah, it's just like you were saying. Sometimes if we try too hard, it won't happen. But if we, step away and let it go, then that's when it starts happening.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it does. You ever had a performance? Now I want to ask you tell me some of the more exciting performance places that you've traveled and venues that stand out, the happiest memories in your singing and performing.
I think probably for me, it's about reaching the variety of people. So I would probably say one of my most memorable performances was at the American Vets Club in Dayton, Ohio, where you had not only the veterans there, but you had their family members, and I think you even had like maybe motorcycle members that were there from different motorcycle gangs and stuff. So you had an interesting array of characters, tattooed and beards and, shades and and the women were there dressed like that too. So it was kind of interesting. But the fact that they liked my music and it seemed like everybody was happy and it put everybody in a good mood, that to me was like, okay, I feel like the music is making a difference, because anybody can create something, but when you create something with good intention and when you create something that you feel can maybe help other people or inspire other people or motivate people or just make people feel better about whatever it is that's going on at the moment in their lives, then I feel like personally I've done my job as a songwriter, as a singer, as a performer. You can give yourself kudos all day, but it really doesn't matter until somebody else is affected by what you're doing in a good way. So to me, that was probably the most memorable.
That's great. Well, my favorite performer, Elvis Presley, when he was involved with the movie, he had the music contracts. He did about 33, movies, and he said he missed the closeness of an audience.
Yeah.
And that's when he ended up getting, he did when he went into Vegas and everything. How do you feel yourself? I mean, if you, it sounds like you probably missed the closeness of an audience yourself with what's been going on with COVID and everything.
I do. It really. I'll be honest with you. I can be pretty shy. So even the fact that we're able to talk via Zoom is like a milestone for me, because I had to start doing a lot of that when COVID first hit, and I was not used to that at all. Wasn't used to being in front of the phone or computer and zooming in. I was used to being able to actually reach out, hug people, thank you for coming to the show kind of thing. And none of that was happening within the last year and a half. So I had to do some readjusting myself. And even now, obviously we still have to be careful, but now I kind of take any kind of event that has real live human beings there. I can kind of see them. We can kind of shake hands at least. So yeah, I that was the one thing that I really did miss during the COVID shutdown. I mean, that was pretty tough, especially for not being able to perform.
Well, that makes you appreciate it even more. When you're able to get back to doing what you truly love doing and never stop never stop that feeling of love that you have for reaching out to an audience and performing, and probably like the kind of feedback of seeing people smile and clap and applaud, and stomp their feet, and do different things.
Exactly. Exactly.
Have you ever had a performance now in which you tried your best to make people like you? Of course, you always do. I'm sure you you put your mind, body, heart, and soul in your performance.
Sure.
And for some reason, it's called Murphy's Law. If anything go wrong, it can and it will. Something caused it not to go so well. And if that's the case, where did that happen? And how did you handle it? How did you deal with that?
Wow. I think, it's kind of interesting. It may not have been an actual complete performance. Maybe it might have been a concert, and the beginning of the concert kind of started off rocky, either because there were sound issues, or maybe I wasn't properly mic'd, just any number of reasons. But the show really kind of got off to a rocky start, and you can tell when people are not enjoying what you're doing, because they have these definite looks on their faces that say, "Look, kid, get off the stage. You're wasting my time. We could have been at home watching Netflix. Why were you even here?" kind of thing. But as the night progressed, or as the event progressed, it eventually got better. So, and I think probably that may have happened, I want to say maybe for a wedding reception that I had to do a couple of years ago, that started off like that. And I think it was just lack of communication from the get-go. But once the actual sound guy came in, he was able to kind of fix everything. So that was a huge.
Great. You ever had any time where people were booing you and they were really angry as hell, and you acted like, "Oh boy, what am I going to do to salvage this?" Or any way did this ever happen?
One time I experienced, yeah, okay, I'm glad you asked me that. One time when I was, I think maybe 14, I was singing for a outdoor beauty pageant in Augusta, and someone called me a derogatory name and told me to get off the stage. I think I was singing the song "Hello" by Lionel Richie.
Oh.
So rather than be phased by that, I kind of started singing to the person, and that kind of made them even more upset. But eventually, they just kind of walked off. So, when you're an entertainer, you have to kind of be ready for anything. And I felt like I wasn't about to just kind of get booed off the stage because somebody called me a name. If the music wasn't going to stop, I wasn't going to stop. I was going to keep going. So that was probably the most.
So what you did is you acted like it let it go in one ear and out the other, and acted like it didn't happen, right? And then you smiled. Right. You smiled and acted like you're singing specifically to that person, and then exactly. You're letting it roll off your shoulders or through one ear and out the other. Acting like no big thing. Well, exactly. I think that's a good way of dealing with it. How have you been able to handle rejection in your life? In everything in life, especially in entertainment, of course, people do go through times of rejection. Not everything is always rosy and always perfect.
Sure. My dad told me that not everybody's going to like you, especially when you're doing music. So just be ready for that. They may not mean any harm, but it just may be a natural thing. They may not like the way you look. They may not like the way you sound. They may not like the songs you're singing. They may not even like the way you're singing the song, and it might be their favorite song. But he says you always have to be ready for that. So don't ever take it personally. And that was something that he taught me as a kid growing up. And that's just something that always kind of stuck with me. Of course, it's not always, it's always easier said than done, obviously, because, you want to be appreciated as an entertainer. I think that's why a lot of entertainers do what they do, because they want the love of the people. They want the love of the listeners. But at the same time, I think if somebody doesn't like something and they do reject what I'm doing, I think the first thing I always do is just to check and make sure that it wasn't something that I did on my end. Maybe the song wasn't such a great song, or maybe I could have sung it a little bit better. So I'm always double checking, make sure that, I'm not in the wrong with anything. And then after I kind of go through that mentally, then I'm like, okay, well, no, they just didn't like it. And then that's okay. It's like personalities, sometimes water and oil don't mix kind of thing. So, it's easy come, easy go kind of thing. So
I see. Well, that's interesting. Now you have traveled to different besides local gigs in LA. You've also traveled other places in the United States. Tell me about your travels at other venues, other areas that you've been to besides local.
Yeah, sure. St. Augustine, Florida. It's one of my favorite places to perform. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's where my mom's from. So I've done.
What is there about both Florida and Pennsylvania that you really love?
I'm definitely a beach guy. I love the beach. I love the coast. And the St. Augustine, Florida area just has such a great laid back vibe to it. It's a place where you just, because of the scenery and stuff, you just get really creative really quickly. And, the people are super cool, very nice, very friendly. I love Philadelphia because of the historical aspect, Liberty Bell. I'm a history buff as well, so I enjoy going to places that actually have a lot of history in them. But even so, I think Philadelphia is special because of the music history that it has as well. And a lot of my favorite groups came from there. Hall & Oates, Sister Sledge, those types of acts came from that city. So that kind of holds a special place. And a lot of my first musical experiences happened there too, as a kid growing up performing. So, yeah.
You mean where in
Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia? Yeah, there was you remember a great Benjamin Franklin who invented, he had that saying, "Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." Remember Bill?
There you go.
Right? Yeah. He invented the lightning rod too, electricity.
Exactly.
Remember Benjamin Franklin? Yeah, there's a lot of history over there. Anthony Sylvester Stallone, I think he did Rocky over there in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Right.
The Rocky statue. Yeah, that's near City Hall. Yeah, exactly. I've seen that actually. So.
Say, "Yo, Adrian." "You can't do a Rocky." "I can and I will." That's what he did. Yeah.
That's good.
Anyway, yeah. So there's a lot of interesting things. Now you have many testimonials too. I noticed on your website.
Sure.
I remember them exactly. I mean, can you tell me some of the certain ones that stand out? There's many of them, but people are just singing your praises of your vibrant performing, or your soulful or relaxing, or there's all kinds of different things.
Thank you.
So if you can remember any testimonials that stand out, there were so many of them.
Yeah, I think well, some of those are based on just hearing the music, and then some of those are actually seeing me perform more in person. And those are the ones I think that are extra special because those are the people that actually took the time to come and see me perform. I can't recall right offhand exactly which ones are like my favorites, but I can say that the ones that talk more about like the performing aspects are the ones that kind of reach out to me more. So
well, the fact that they took the time, I mean, means something. That they really they were really excited by your performance, or else they wouldn't have done this. Nobody forced them to do it; they just did it because they wanted to. Just like nobody forces you to be a singer, songwriter, or entertainer. It's something you either have or you don't.
Right.
And it's not you have it.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I mean, it's something that it's a talent. It's like anything,
Exactly.
Not everybody. Some people are not mechanical. Some people are, they're klutzy and everything.
Exactly.
Some people couldn't hold a note if their life depended upon it. They would, it would just go up and down. It would just be off key.
Exactly.
But at least they're trying, and they're very trying anyway. So.
Exactly.
Now you have the distinction of there's some kind of a thing, it's inspirational multi-genre type of singing or music. I think I saw something on that as a number first person. Can you help me with that? IMM?
Yeah, MJA. That's how you pronounce that. MJA. Yeah. First inspirational multi-genre artist. So basically the message is inspirational, and inspirational mainly in the sense of gospel/Christian based as far as like the messaging is concerned. And then there's also just good old fashioned positive stuff too. But the genres are steeped in either pop, soul, or dance. So if you kind of notice, sometimes the music might be a little bit more of a variety than what you're probably used to. But I chose to focus on those three because those are probably the three genres that I feel like best represent not only the music that I perform best in, but also that I kind of songwrite best in as well.
So those are, you said pop. What else did you say?
Pop, soul, and dance.
Oh, pop, soul, and dance. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Weren't you a fan of I think, of like Soul Train and American Bandstand in the past?
Yeah. Those are the shows that I grew up watching reruns of. And I think that created more of an impact on me than anything, in the sense of just seeing people perform, seeing them do their songs. Now, a lot of times I don't think they were live, but the fact that they were able to just get out there and do it and see the reaction of the people, that's what kind of motivated me to want to do the same thing. So, yeah, exactly.
Well, that's great, Kenneth. Did you ever go to any concerts in person of any of these great people that you perhaps a Stevie Wonder or James Brown or anybody?
Yeah, I actually met James Brown, believe it or not. I met him in person when I was in Augusta. He stopped at a gas station, and he and his crew were stepping out the limo, and my parents and I happened to be there at the time. So, but he's a really great guy. And then Stevie Wonder, I actually went to a show of his a couple of years ago at the ASCAP Expo. He did sort of like a mini concert / talk interview, talking about his songs and performing them, and just really kind of giving a lot of artists advice on what to do in order to stay successful, basically. So.
Okay. Anyway, as far as songwriting, what is the formula as far as when you write songs? Do you do music or lyrics or both? What do you do? What do you normally do?
Probably more than likely, most of the time, the lyrics come first, and then either the lyrics come first or the beat comes first. I love good beats and songs. I guess because I started playing drums before I actually started singing as a kid. But the beat and the lyrics kind of go hand in hand for some reason with me. And then after that, then I start working more on the hook or the chorus of the song to kind of make it complete from there. So, and it's kind of funny. Some songs don't require the typical cookie cutter way that a song is written. Sometimes songs kind of write themselves in the sense that if you were to follow a typical song pattern, verse, chorus, it just wouldn't feel right. So sometimes you maybe have a verse and then another verse and then a chorus, or you may have the chorus at the beginning and then a verse and then another chorus and then another verse. So it's all about maybe what the song calls for, I guess. But you don't know that until you start working on it. So you may not know that right off the bat. So.
And do you prefer working alone or working or collaborating with other people?
It really depends. I think for me, I like working by myself, but if I were working with other people, I'd like to start from scratch. It's always easier if myself and the other person or the other group of people come together with nothing on the plate, as somebody, plays a chord or I sing something, and we all just kind of start writing together at that point, rather than coming in with something that's sort of halfway done, or maybe somebody started on something and they kind of want you to finish up. I find that those are okay, but it's just always a lot more fun when you have nothing to go on and you have to start from scratch and you go straight from there. So. And
you have a band, right? You were going to bring your band, but they couldn't make it apparently.
Yeah, they couldn't make it. Everybody, is off for the holidays and have other obligations. So I said, okay, well, I'll come.
I understand. How many people you have in your band, and what do they play?
Usually it's 4, but depending on the event, sometimes it may be 5. I think it just depends on what the event calls for and how big the event is. Like for Whiskey A Go Go, usually I'll have like 5 band members just to have a fuller sound. So the bigger the venue, the more band members there may be. But other than that, it's usually just 4.
Oh, I see. Well, you mentioned that there's a couple songs that you wanted to sing anyway. You have some music tracks, so when you're ready to sing those songs,
okay,
the ones you want, we'll certainly be happy to. I'll let you blaze right in and sing those songs.
All right. So let me go and get set up, and I'll be right back. Hold on.
All right. Tell me the song you're going to do, of course.
Okay. All right, here we go.
This one is,
Okay, what song are you going to do? What is
can you
it?
hear me okay? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. What song are you doing, Kenneth?
I'm doing Free.
It's called Free?
It's called Free, and it's from my latest album, Blind Oblivion.
It's called Free, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's go for it then. Let's hear Free.
All righty. Here I am, all by myself. Yeah, feels so strange, 'cause there's no one else. Oh no, so I pull myself together again. Yeah, but this time love will be my true friend. Oh, you see, I'm free. Got my mind, got my mind free. Yes, this time, because I had enough. Are you ready to start all over again? Yeah, but this time there won't be no end. No, no, no. I can see it shining over the horizon. Oh, yes, I can. Just see a breeze. Got my mind, got my eyes, got my data. Whoa, yeah. This time, because I had oh, yeah. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up. I got my mind made up.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That was really beautiful. Yeah, Kenneth.
Thank you.
Like that.
Thank you.
Very relaxing, a lot of soul. You had a nice style to that, nice relaxing melody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that makes me feel free, just like the song, like the title.
Hey, I've done my job, and that's good.
That's great, Kenneth. You had another one now. I don't know which one you're going to sing any one of those ones we talked about, Focus or Took So Long, or you can sing another song, something else.
I was actually gonna do Oh Holy Night, but I'll defer to you. If you want to hear Focus, I think I can do that one. It's completely up to you. It's your show, so whatever.
You know what? If you want to do both, why don't you do Focus and then do a Christmas song? How's that?
Okay, that sounds like a plan. All right.
That way, the Christmas spirit in, and we also get your song.
There you go.
Everybody's pleased. Everybody's happy about that.
There you go.
Something for everybody.
Exactly. All right. I've got a pause and remember, Mama and Papa said, so you better tighten up and keep your eyes on the prize. Gotta focus, oh, gotta focus. Keep your eyes on the prize. Gotta focus, oh, gotta focus. You in hesitation. The promises of God are true. Just to stay motivated. Take one step and see what you can do. Whoa. You better focus, yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Put your hands together, hey! Huh, huh. Hey! Hey! I got you. I'm gonna do it this time.
Yeah. Oh, so much rhythm there. You have a lot of rhythm there, Kenneth.
Yeah, you got me sweating tonight.
I feel your music. You can really feel it. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing it.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you want to, sure. It's the creepy in the Christmas spirit. You want to do a Christmas song?
We'll do one of my favorites. Oh Holy Night. So we'll slow it down a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love
Give
it.
me a chance to kind of
Oh Holy Night. That's a favorite of mine. Yeah, I really like that. Okay.
Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is a night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error hiding till He appeared. And the soul felt His word. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices for yonder day. A new and glorious morn. All your needs
Wow. Yeah. That was just spectacular.
Thank
You put so much power and passion into it, Kenneth,
Thank you.
and you're able to hold those notes. That's not easy. You're able
On a
to
good
do
day.
it, though. You're a professional. You take pride in what you're doing, and you can,
Thank you.
and it shows. You truly love what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing that with our audience.
No, thank you. My pleasure.
That was blazing hot, Kenneth. There you go. Anyway, Kenneth, do you have any advice for people who want to be successful, singers and songwriters and entertainers? Do you have any advice for the people out there?
I just say, I know this sounds pretty trite and same song, but just stick with it. Just stick with it, because you never know what impact you may be making, regardless of what stage you may be at and what you're doing. So just stick with it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Don't feed into the self-doubt. Don't feed into the insecurities. But also realize that there's always room for improvement. Never get so cocky or never become so complacent that you feel like you don't have to practice, you don't have to work. There's always going to be steady practice. There's always going to be steady honing in what your skills and what your gifts are. That's just that comes with the territory if you really want to continue to be successful at what you're doing. I think they always say, what's that phrase? Prepared opportunity is preparation. You know that phrase where you've done the work and now when the opportunity happens, you're ready to, you know what I'm talking about, right?
In other words, talent and preparation and opportunity all come together.
Thank you. Yes. Great answer. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's the advice I would give to, your listeners and anybody else that might be wanting to be an artist as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Kenneth, if you had to do anything over again in your life and career, would you do anything differently?
Wow. I probably would, I don't know. Maybe moved out to LA a lot sooner, maybe. I don't know. Just in hindsight, maybe I think maybe had I been out here earlier, I could have maybe started my career in a different way. Jump started maybe a little bit quicker, but that's okay. Like the song says, it took so long. So, I just need to be grateful at where I'm at. But I think if I had a time machine, could go back, I think that's probably one thing I would do. Just for the fact that I would have been able to experience all those things that I've experienced already, but just earlier, that's all. So, yeah.
You have a very positive attitude. What were the things that now before you got in, you had some, I guess say you have a day job also. What, you never told me what was your day job before doing what, you're lucky to be able to do what you love doing. Not everybody gets that opportunity.
Sure. I've always worked primarily in the legal field in one capacity or another. Like when I lived in Georgia and Atlanta, I worked for the governor, Office of the Child Advocate, being basically a case attorney for children of the state. So we were considered to be the last stop where people had grievances about the system and the way the system works with DFACS and Department of Child and Family Services and Human Services and things like that. So I did that for quite a bit of time. Also worked for LexisNexis as a customer research support associate. So people would call in asking legal questions, and we pretty much had to guide them in the right direction or be able to find at least a decent pathway for them to kind of work with while we were on the phone. So that was always challenging because you never could see who you were working with. You always just kind of had to go by the voice. But, sometimes they call in huffy and mad, turning from New York, why I want my cases now. So, you couldn't be fazed by it. You had to keep cool, keep calm, and stay with it and do what you were called to do. So that was a nice lesson in human behavior as well. And all these day jobs are. I mean, you really learn a lot about like the human psyche and behavior of people and what makes people tick and what you can do to make sure that you don't get ticked off either. So right. It's a two-way street. Yeah.
Well, you do have a great attitude, and those just stepping stones as you learn, as you move towards what you really want to do. You've got to sometimes you got to do things you don't like to do to get what you want, but you have a lot of humble experience, and you have had and continue to have, Kenneth Perrin, a very exciting and blazing and amazing life.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're on the right track.
Yeah. No, I feel very blessed. I feel fortunate. I feel like there's always more that can be done, or I could be doing, or should be doing. So, I think that's the joy of the journey. You never really become too complacent about what you're doing because you always find that there's something new, or is a twist, or that's the joy of learning, really. As you live, you continue to learn, and I feel like it should always be that way. You never too old to stop learning. Basically, I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it really is true. So,
well, that's what makes life very interesting. If you learn new things, it just adds on to your adventure, and it makes you, it makes you develop. If you overcome adversity by doing that, and you become a more articulated, intelligent human being, and more grateful for what you've done and what you continue to do. So you're just growing. You're growing all the time.
Exactly.
Well, you're accomplishing something, that's for sure.
Exactly.
And that's important. Anyway, Kenneth, do you have any pleasant projects right now on the horizon currently?
Well, in addition to touring and promoting the album that just came out last month, I would like to delve a little bit more into acting next year. I made my first music video where I actually played various characters in it for the Focus video, actually. I'll send you the link for that if you never saw it, but that was a lot of fun. I've done small acting projects in the past, but I think I would like to do more of it. It's a nice way to kind of balance with the music, because a lot of times with my music, there's sometimes periods of waiting or, things that I could be doing while the music stuff is being done. So it's a nice way to kind of break up the monotony of just music all the time. And I love good television. I love film. I admire anybody who is really really great at acting and what they do. So just to be able to kind of be a part of that in some small way, that just really, really excites me. So
What type of film and television do you like? What are your...
I'm a drama and thriller guy. I love drama. I love thriller. I appreciate some comedy too, but it's kind of more the witty comedy. The slapstick stuff is okay if I'm in the mood for it, but I like the comedy that kind of makes you think with, wisecracking jokes, things like that. Like a, Jack Nicholson kind of thing, or something along those lines. Not so much the Three Stooges and things, but just.
What about people like Eddie Murphy? People like him?
And Eddie Murphy too. Yeah. He's a nice go between those two, I think. So yeah.
Oh yeah. He did a remake of Jerry Lewis's Nutty Professor in the past. That was great.
Yeah. Is that one of your favorites? Do you like that one?
Oh yeah, that was excellent. And I'm going to see the movie. The original was the best, of course. It's always the best. I'm going to go see West Side Story. Steven Spielberg's adaptation of the original West Side Story. It should be.
Yeah, I hear that is really a great film.
I'm going to see that for Christmas. That should be interesting.
Yeah, it's really great. And Rita
I don't know
Moreno.
about you, but a favorite film of mine. You can see it over and over again with Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. No one is a failure who has his friends, and an angel won his wings. It's a Wonderful Life.
Ah, yeah, good classic. Yes.
You can see that over again. It brings tears to your eyes. There's something about it. It's just so special and so unique.
Exactly.
Or Miracle on 34th Street. That's another Natalie Wood's first movie.
Exactly.
There's a lot of great ones out there from the past. Oh yeah. Do you have any future dream projects, Kenneth, that you haven't done yet that you're thinking about?
Well, there's always the eternal bucket list, I guess. There's always something I want to do. Right now, I think probably just those things, with the acting, I believe would be probably the dream projects that I would like to work on, and maybe do like a soundtrack for maybe a movie, like a full entire soundtrack. Maybe collaborate with some of my favorite artists, Mariah, Stevie, those types of artists.
When you say acting, now the kind of acting you want to do music videos, or what kind of roles? You want to do comedy or drama, or are you feature films or any documentaries, or?
I think I would like to do probably television. I think I'd like to try something in television first, maybe a drama series, and then film-wise, maybe like comedy and film. So.
I see. And did you ever have any training in acting at all? Did you take any class, or is this something that's just a natural talent for you?
Well, I did go to a fine art school when I was in high school and middle school in Augusta, Georgia, Davidson Fine Arts. So one of the core curriculums were to actually either do drama, or actually we had to kind of have a little bit of both to fulfill our fine arts curriculum. So I did take a few drama classes, but that was about the extent of it. And I did some plays in college, and I've done some like extra work, and then also small supporting roles in independent films, but those were made for overseas by some friends of mine. So.
Well, that's great. So you have more talents besides being a singer, songwriter, entertainer. You have some other talents I wasn't aware of. Your acting.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. And other things in the future. Great. And you say you're going on tour now. You're going to be going on tour in 2022.
Yes. Regardless of COVID restrictions at this point. Now, if anything changes, I would definitely let you know. But for now, yes. Yeah.
And where will you be touring now on that?
So far we've got, of course, a lot of the places in the LA region, Santa Barbara, San Diego areas, and then South Carolina, and then New York, more than likely Philadelphia, Georgia, of course. So basically the idea is to kind of start on the West Coast first, and then kind of make our way back on the East Coast, come back down again, across the Midwest, and then back to the West Coast. So. Well,
that's quite a Kenneth Perrin tour.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. That'll keep you busy. That should be a lot of fun. Yeah. Should be a lot of fun there, Kenneth. Great. Now, if people want to find out more about you, Kenneth, how can they find out more about you? Some of your on social media, your websites, and you share the different places that you're at?
Yeah, sure. So KENNEITH PERRIN music.com, and then Instagram, my first and last name. YouTube channel, same thing, first and last name. And Twitter, first and last name as well. So, and Facebook too, first and last name.
So you've got quite a few places that people can locate you at.
Sure. Yeah.
Very good. Well, Kenneth, it's like I said, it's really it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you. It really is. You've had, like I say, quite a career, and I really appreciate you being my guest, Kenneth Perrin, the special singer, songwriter, entertainer, and amongst your acting talents too. It's been a real pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. So Kenneth, I want to say to all my fans and friends, happy holidays to you. May you have a great Merry Christmas and a most happy and prosperous New Year coming up. And always keep a smile on your face, so in your heart. Until next time, happy trails and blaze out.
Hey, blaze out, happy trails, happy holidays, and thank you again for this experience. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be a guest on an entertainment talk show, please send us an email at amazingorijgbshow@gmail.com. And remember, all of our guests receive a complimentary DVD of their appearance on the show. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every episode gets at least 2,000 to 3,000 views per episode. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing, original Johnny Blaze has just left the building. Good night, and God bless. Mwah. Thank you again.